Newcomers Crystal Palace have selected the side that played Liverpool in the semi-final. Now, despite the morning speculation, I have a feeling that it was always doubtful that Ian Wright would start the game. He is a substitute, and Steve Coppell's main decision really this morning was who should be the second sub. As I said in the introductions, David Madden got the vote, and there were a few tears at the hotel this morning from one or two of those who didn't make it. The unlucky players, Eddie McGoldrick, Rudy Hedman, Jeff Hopkins. But that's the team that beat Liverpool 4-3, and certainly it's the formation which Palace know exactly can do a job for them, with possibly Andy Gray at number 4, the man to watch on the set plays, and Mark Bright, the main striker, at number 9. As for Manchester United, well, Alex Ferguson had one or two thoughts, but the semi-final replay team against Oldham won his nod of approval, with Danny Wallace selected ahead of Mark Robins, who was one of the substitutes. And Alex Ferguson also slept on the selection of his second sub. Clayton Blackmore just edged out Mal Donaghy. But Michael Phelan at number 5 will play right back, and Hughes will be very much alone up front in theory, but in practice Webb number 8 and the other midfield players will be... Jim Leighton's got Barber in front of him. And O'Reilly's up there, and it was Brian McClair with the overhead kick, and Wallace with a little header, and McClair again. Good defending by Manchester United, and a good run on the far side by Neil Webb. It was just driven behind him, rather, by McClair. McClair. Here's Ince. Thorne, O'Reilly's in there, and was it over the line? And it's a goal! Gary O'Reilly, after 19 minutes, it was in the net before Steve Bruce could get his foot to it. And Crystal Palace, the underdogs, have taken the lead in precisely the way many people expected. The free kick, I think it was bent in by Barber there. Whether that came off Pallister's head as well, I'm not quite sure. O'Reilly's taken the congratulations. It was bent in by Gray. And was that Pallister or O'Reilly? Anyway, Bruce couldn't keep it out, and Palace are in front.
Well, they took the lead just as probably...
Well, the ricochet favoured Sulaco there. This is Pallister. Now Bruce. Ince. Foul, Thorne on Wallace. And this is Robson. And it's away by Thorne. Wallace back in, offside Hughes. For 2, it fell to his wrong foot. Jeff Thomas, predominantly a left-footed player, could only steer that into the arms of Jim Leighton. Hughes. This is Ince. Robson. Free kick. And that is Webb. In from the far post, McClair! And well blocked Sulaco. It's a goal kick because McClair, I think, got an extra touch, although he... to Danny Wallace. Martin, good effort, and my word, a bit more height. And Lee Martin might have surprised everybody. I think John Sulaco was the player that actually got that ball out. It was Danny Wallace's whip cross, and I'm pretty sure that comes off Sulaco. Webb will take the corner. Pallister on the near post, McClair on the goal line. Bruce and Robson waiting to come in. A back header, oh goodness me. I think that... McClair, Robson, goal! Brian Robson equalises for Manchester United after 35 minutes, and Captain Marvel is there again. Now good play here. Danny Wallace just worked the ball out wide. The cross was delivered long to the far post, and Brian rolls a deflection off a defender as well there. It's one each, and as Robson gets the header in, that's John Pemberton, I think, was it? Or maybe the man in front of him that just diverted it to make it 1-1. 2-1 to United, and Alex Ferguson thought it was for a moment. He was on his feet as Brian McClair, who made the first goal, nearly scored the second. It's Webb working well there on the far side. It nearly went for Hughes. Now look what happens. Pallister's header out. That's Thomas trying to hook it back in. And there could be, there would have been a break on for Pallister, who's furious because Pardew fouled him. 2-1 to Manchester United. And a devastating finish by Mark Hughes. And I have to say the Palace defence were pussyfooting around a bit there, really. They had their chance to clear. Thorne didn't do so. And when it came to Hughes' left foot, that was a deadly goal scorer's instinct. After 62 minutes, Mark Hughes scores his 14th goal of the season, his first in the FA Cup this season, and it puts Manchester United into a 2-1 lead. And they get that out. Andy Thorne, I think, miraculously from McClair. What a clearance. That could have killed the game completely, and they know it down there. Hughes heads it wide of the keeper, and Thorne away from McClair. And look where Jim Leighton was. When Pallister sliced that ball over his own crossbar, the goalkeeper had come and must have been 8 yards out. It's a ball played in here by Mark Bright. There's Leighton coming to claim it, but never got a chance, because Pallister did it first. Now then, corner. Always the danger signal, with Palace bending them in. On that occasion, Bright with the head back towards Andy Gray, but the ball fell in the end quite nicely for Alan Pardew. Deflection too. The far post, but it's Brian Robson, and a good challenge by Alan Pardew, forcing Robson to shoot wide at the last. Oh, what an impact by the substitute! It's 2-2! And it's Ian Wright who has sent the Palace supporters into ecstasy. The ball played through to him in not the best position, I have to say, but look what he made of this. He turned the defender beautifully and slid it wide of Jim Leighton, and that was in the 73rd minute, and it was just 3 minutes after Ian Wright had come on. And what a lovely individual goal. There's a touch of the Ricky Villas about that one, Trevor.
Well, he looks pretty pleased there, I'm not surprised. I do believe it was his first touch, wasn't it? I can't actually, he's been running around as you do as a substitute, trying to get a touch. Here he is, and really Gary Pallister caught very flat-footed. You shouldn't let a striker turn in on goal like that. You should funnel him to the touchline. He kept his head well, kept it low, and really that's it. That is him at his best. Turns inside, he's so quick, always on his toes, sees that corner, and here, not surprisingly, he's just about the shot froze there, but he just about went on one of his run-arounds, which all goal scorers do at Wembley, and suddenly, what a cup this has been, isn't it? Always topsy-turvy matches, and there's Steve Cottle, the master-stroke substitution, shall we say.
Cross, and Gary Pallister is having a bad time. He was turned completely by Wright for the goal, and he was licked by Salako there. Well, he seemed to get caught between a cross and a shot there. It wasn't pulled back far enough for Hughes or McClair. Now it's going to be a Palace throw. I saw Bright. Well, who else but Brian Robson sneaking in there? So close. Here he is again in midfield. And it's Wright. Now the free kick's been given. I'm not sure that Michael Phelan actually brought him down. It may be that Wright tripped over his own feet. I have to say that. But anyway, Alan Gunn thinks differently, and he's given Crystal Palace a free kick, which will lead to great controversy if a goal should come from it. Gray. And it was 4 minutes to go. Gray takes the throw. Bright's in there with O'Reilly. Pardew. Now the break's on for Manchester United. Bruce to McClair, and Hughes and Wallace are up with him. Phelan's making great strides to his right. Here he is. Oh, McClair's driven him rather too wide, I think. Anyway, he's got it back, and Ince is in the middle as well now. Here's Ince. Away by Shaw. Phelan. McClair. Against Salako. Martin may have played his last part in the game. Now, here's what I was trying to refer to. He did save it, but it did hit the post, so there we are. We've finally got it right. And good ball out to Wallace. Robson waiting in the middle, so is Hughes. Gray. Screaming for it on the right wing. Bright now. Still Mark Bright. He's going right across the line. He wants help again now. Thomas. Gray. Good turn by Gray. Well, what a finish that would have been. Pallister. Hughes, no. Trevor.
There's the final whistle, and both managers now going to do a lot of talking just to lift their side.
In front at 3-2. And Steve Coppell has made, he's made one of the great substitutions, and the Palace players have been called back by the referee. It's a goal, all right, but they've been called back from celebrating. Don't let me take it away from Ian Wright. What a good finish, but it was interesting there, in the light of current crowd control, Alan Gunn ran behind the goal and pulled them all back from the crowd. It's 3-2 to Crystal Palace. Ian Wright has scored his second in the 92nd minute, and as last year, we have a substitute who's come on and scored 2 goals, just as Rush and McCall did. Palace are in. Fields for handball. It's McClair again. And that's out. Well, Trevor, they've done it again. At least they've taken the lead again, and they've got to bring on Robbins now.
Well, one substitution has meant that the other one's going to be brought on as well, because a really good cross from John Salako.
Beyond him, Gray and Bright were in there. Well, with tiredness creeping in, and Manchester United desperate to push forward, anything could happen. There may well be another goal. This is... Brian Robson was coming into the 6-yard box unchallenged. Just surging forward with Andy Gray. If he takes on Bruce, well, he had to take on Blackmore as well. And now Wright's made a run across the box again. And if point in the extra period, this is Ince for Manchester United. And the whistle goes. There's still 15 minutes more. Now, at this point, the managers are not supposed to come on, but I can see Steve Coppell striding a few yards in to bark out some more instructions. Good shot this by Ince, and a good tip over. Now then, the corner by Danny Wallace. Short to Webb. Wallace again. Hughes was in there with Bruce. O'Reilly's header out. Ince. And here's Wright. He's away again, and it's 3 against 2. He's got Gray in the middle and Bright on the far side, completely unmarked. Offside. Flag was up, it wouldn't have mattered, even though Andy Gray knows it was a bad piece of control. Challenge Pemberton.
Again, that ball beyond the far post, just the one that's given United that glimmer of the openings they've had this half.
Wallace. Off Thorne, corner. Well, it's in a good position here, but it's just a bit too strong. And McClair, nicely done to Phelan. Robin starts his run now. This is Webb. Robson's free if he can find him square. Wallace will. Hughes. McClair. Phelan out on the right. Salako tries to get to him and fails. It's Michael Phelan for United. Dipping shot. Beautifully tried. Oh, he's good at those. I remember one playing for England when he nearly scored. Hughes! He scores his second of the game, and Manchester United have saved themselves. The ball just chucked through by Danny Wallace, and the central defenders gave him too much space. O'Reilly wasn't close enough, and Hughes steered it past Martin. And so what Ian Wright has done for Palace, Mark Hughes has done for Manchester United. He's scored twice, and with just 7 minutes of extra time to go, the score is 3-3. Wright against Phelan. And Wright's still there. He's got Bright on this side. He won't find him like that. He was too far away. And they'll settle for the corner. Clayton Blackmore. Goodness me, that hit the roof of the net as well. Well, Robson! Goodness me. I think his expression says it all there. And that was deflected, and the sting really taken out of the shot. The replay is scheduled for Thursday at 7:30 here at Wembley. Just about on the penalty spot. Thorne's flick. And Mark Bright it was, with Jim. Thorne won't reach it this time. And the referee has blown, and the FA Cup final of 1990 ends in a draw. Mark Hughes with 2 goals for Manchester United as Alex Ferguson's team saved themselves in extra time. And Ian Wright with 2 goals for Crystal Palace, who were 1-0 up, 2-1 down, 3-2 up, and whose fans in the end applaud not just their own players, like Gary O'Reilly, but everybody on the pitch, I would think, for a stirring, gripping encounter.